What our very own brother Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu has turned Nigeria into, especially Ondo State, because Akeredolu is his friend, living the tenets and the penance of the Constitution and what the Constitution says, things being done decently and in order, the rights with the things being followed as it should be. We all know that Akeredolu is not well. It's not his fault. Life happens and he's unwell. Okay, fast forward. He's unwell. He has not been represented in office properly for proper governance of the state. Some stakeholders raised an alarm saying, let the deputy take over. Tinubu comes in and says the status quo should remain the same. While the deputy governor is there, he appoints what? Tinubu goes ahead and appoints 3 members in the cabinet to oversee what is going on in the state, to monitor the deputy governor, that Akeredolu remains the governor of the state. Nobody's arguing with him if he can meet up with what he's supposed to do, carry out his duty and his function as he ought to do. As if that is not enough, what follows? We see now that before the deputy governor could return from Abuja, see what the wife and family members of Akeredolu has done as problem intensify with tension rising. Ondo State Executive Council, presided over by Deputy Governor, rejects 1 billion loan request by the Ailing Governor, Akeredolu. The Ondo Executive Council convened its first meeting last Thursday, following a 5 month leadership vacuum in the state due to Akeredolu's ailment. The Ondo Executive Council has declined a 1 billion request by cabinet members loyal to the ailing governor, Rotimi Akeredolu, which they claim is meant to counterpart funding for the state's universal-based education, among others. The Ondo Executive Council convened its first meeting, and this is what is happening. Some reporters learned that the meeting followed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's intervention in the prolonged leadership crisis between the State House of Assembly and the embittered Deputy Governor, Lucky. President Tinubu urged the confining faction to lay down their sword and restore peace in the state. Sources said Abuja meeting concluded that the status quo should be maintained and Lucky should return to the state to coordinate its affairs, involving all stakeholders in the decision-making process. Just before the deputy governor could return to Akure from Abuja, members of the governor Akeredolu's inner caucus, forwarded a list of candidates from the interim management committee of 18 local governments and 33 LCDs to the State House of Assembly for screening and approval without informing the deputy governor or considering his nomination, a source has told Sahara newspaper. Sahara reporters gathered that on Wednesday evening, an interim memo signed by the Chief of Protocol, Bola Alaba, directed the deputy governor to preside over the State Executive Council meeting scheduled for Thursday, November the 30th, 2023. During the Thursday meeting, the secretary to the state government, Princess Oladumi, and other cabinet members loyal to the ailing governor presented a list of requests, including a 1 billion naira loan request to the State Executive Council for approval, intended to counterpart funding for the state's universal basic education, among others. However, the deputy governor requested more time and the opportunity to consult with the governor for clarification and authorization before approving such fund. He emphasized that the reason for this was his lack of authority as deputy governor, having been denied the status quo of acting governor as stipulated by the Constitution. Disagreements erupt during the meeting over the formal presentation of the true resolution reached at the Abuja preliminary by the Executive Council, causing a rancor section as members were divided over the interpretation of the meeting resolution, each fronting their own narrative for nearly 2 hours. Both factions insist on interpreting the resolution in ways that suit their interests. Despite numerous pleas by SSG and other cabinet members loyal to Governor Akeredolu to preside to ensure they cover the deputy governor to facilitate the approval of the listed item, the deputy governor remained steadfast in his stand throughout, insisting on consulting and seeking governor's consent first. Another top source has said, SAR reporters learned that the meeting ended in deadlock with no approval secured for any of the items on the agenda. SAR reporters in several reports have stated that Governor Akeredolu has been indisposed for significant part of the year, and his refusal to transfer power to the deputy has resulted in the current leadership vacuum in the state, causing a lot of problem. You see how human being be. Tinubu went there. Instead of following what the constitution says, he gives the very penance of our constitution. And some people said he's doing well. Well, I will leave that to your conscience. So I will leave it to your conscience. Let your conscience tell you if you are doing well or you are doing wrong. Tinubu went to Ondo State, and as the constitution states, the deputy governor is not supposed to be in. We're not saying he should be the governor. Listen, he should not take over Akeredolu's position, but act as an acting governor. They said no. Tinubu said no. He should not act as acting governor. That's what Tinubu said. He said he cannot act as acting governor. They say why? He said the status quo remained the same. Then you know what he now did? He now picked 3 people, the Speaker of the House and 2 other persons, to be monitoring the deputy governor, and for him to write a letter of resignation, undated resignation. Should he notice or feel that the deputy governor wants to overstep his ban, they will authorize and say, yes, we accept your resignation. A country where there is democracy. I will leave that to you. And I'm not saying that to say we are supporting anybody. If ever there is a constitution in Nigeria and it needs to be followed, that should be the right thing. The deputy governor should be conferred with the authority to be in acting capacity. Why? Akeredolu is still very much alive. He was nominated by the people or voted by the people, and today is their governor. Due to no fault of his or whatever happened, he's unwell and cannot attend to the duties he was appointed to do. Now, the reason why there's a spare tire in a vehicle is because when the tire is faulty, you put the spare tire and you go and repair the car. Now, Tinubu said they should continue with the spare tire, spoiling the rims of the car, meaning that you will not only change the spare tire, you will not only change the tire. At some point, you may need to change the rim. Because by the time you get the tire, the rim would have been destroyed. The tire cannot fully fit into the circumference of the circle. And you will have to what? But you spend more money. Tinubu say prefer like that at the expense of Nigeria. And everybody is quiet. Leave us a comment. God bless. Bye for now.